Okay guys, so I've got about 50 miles to go. I'm almost to the beach, then I'll turn around. But I wanted to show you my power meter screen for, well, one of my power meter screens for my Garmin. It gives me an estimated distance, and I love it when it gives me my estimated distance over 100 miles. I haven't got it over 200, but sometimes when I first turned it on, it's been 196, 185, stuff like that. To get it to estimate over 200 is my goal. And those of you guys that have your things all hooked up with power meters to your Garmin Edge know about this screen. And it's really nice and motivating to see it give you those estimations. So it's calculating your heart rate, your power, your speed, and kind of putting everything together, mostly with your heart rate and your power, and determining how far can you go, what's in your tank. So it's using AI, obviously, and our machine learning to figure that out. But when I first ride, after I haven't been riding for a long time, it's really low, and I think I've seen it as low as like 70 or 80, because it just kind of knows. I mean, it's also, I'm not sure if it's gathering the other stuff from your Garmin Connect with your other workouts. So if you're wearing your Garmin watch, does it calculate your workouts and your sleep and your training readiness and all that other stuff? I'm not even sure about that, but we are getting to that point where it's going to take everything into account. It does give me an estimated VO2 max, and we talked about that before as I did some VO2 or some wind sprints, we used to call them, at the Rose Bowl. And it does calculate what your estimated VO2 max is, and it's very motivating. I like that. It can be very demotivating, I guess, but the point is to turn it around and look at that data and look at it intensely and realizing that it's up to you. Only you can make yourself healthier. And I think we've gotten to this instant world or passive world that we think we can get on some medication, GLP-1, we can get a trainer, we can get all these things externally, and it'll somehow help us turn it around. Now it may help you, but at the end of that equation, and to get any outcomes, it takes you. It takes your intense engagement. And I don't know when we went from people that were really engaged and wanted to do something about their health to people that took this as a matter of fact and didn't want to do anything about their health. And it's kind of one of the reasons I created this YouTube channel, Ride for Life, Fit for Life, because I feel that I want to preach to the people that want to be fit for life. They want to extend their health span. Their lifespan is meaningless if you're spending the rest of your life in a bed, on bed rest, with Alzheimer's or some other debilitating disease, on hemodialysis every other day, so on and so forth. I can't even imagine that, and think that that would be something that people would want, or people, if they had it all to do over again, would reconsider. I think what made a big impression on me, and I'll finish with this, is when I was early in my career as an RN, I had a patient, and he wasn't that old, he was probably 35, and I had a patient that was blind, and I was a nursing student, so I was taking him to his dialysis, and I was going to monitor him while he was on dialysis, but I had to roll him down to the nephrology unit so he could have his dialysis. And so I'm talking to him along the way, and along with a couple other people. There was a orderly and another nurse there, and I said, do you mind sharing with me what made you go into renal failure? Was it, you know, I was studying renal failure, and there's a couple ways you can go into renal failure. And he said, well, I worked at Pepsi Cola, and I drink a full 2-liter bottle, usually two liter bottles of Pepsi every single day. And he says, even though they kept on saying my health was getting worse, I had diabetes, and it was getting worse, I just kept on drinking until I made myself blind. And he didn't share with me if he was drinking alcohol or other things, but he did share that he was ignoring the fact that he had diabetes, and he continually drank Pepsi Cola, not the sugar-free, but the regular sugar Pepsi Cola every single day, because he had easy access. And so he literally drank himself to blindness and then eventual death. He didn't live that much longer, but he had severe renal failure, and even though we dialyzed him and kept him going a little bit longer, he didn't last much longer. So, lesson to you guys listening, that food is medicine, okay? Be careful what you eat, and be careful what you neglect. I'll just put it those two ways. Be careful what you eat, and be careful what you neglect when it comes to managing your health. And you guys have a good day.